Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace. I'm here at Evergreen Cemetery in Louisville, Kentucky to pay my respects to R&B singer Wilson Pickett. And I did a vlog on him several years ago, but as some of you know, my YouTube channel got disabled and I didn't save that particular video. So I'm in Louisville again and I decided to come by here and do another vlog. Now, since that time, you do need a key to get into this mausoleum. So I don't know, something happened before that. Now they're a little more guarded of who comes in here. Luckily, a gentleman was coming out as I was coming in, and that's how I got in here. But otherwise, ask at the front desk and you can get the key to come in here. Plus, there's a camera in here so they can probably watch and see who's doing what. But anyway, Wilson in the 1950s started his career with different gospel groups. One of them was the Violinaires, and then the other one was the Falcons. And then he wound up having a little R&B hit that wound up getting him a deal with Atlantic Records. I Found Love was the song. So Jerry Wetzler signed him. Later he got with Stax Records and he combined with the great Steve Cropper and Booker T and the MGs, and they wrote the song In the Midnight Hour. So that was a big hit for him. Later, he followed that up in, I think, 1966 with Mustang Sally, and then he also had Land of the Thousand Dances, another hit. He did covers of the Beatles' Hey Jude, and he also did a cover of the Archies' Sugar Sugar. But anyway, people wonder, like, why is he buried here in Louisville? He passed away in Ruxton, Virginia, but he grew up in Louisville when he was younger. Now his mom is buried here, and that's why he's buried here. But I'm going to show you his grave. He's all the way up front here. So if you go against the wall, this is the only mausoleum that's enclosed that has a door. The other ones are outside, and it's all the way at the back of the cemetery. So it's not far from the airport if you come, but you see he's got a nice little bronze plaque over here of his face. You know, his nickname was by the radio DJs and fans, they called him the Wicked Pickett because of his raw groove and growling energy. So sometimes you may hear the Wicked Pickett. Somebody left a In the Midnight Hour a little 45 on that, and then you see some guitar picks. But yeah, he passed away in 2006, and he had been ill for a while. He was 64 years old. Now it says on here, to our beloved father, grandfather, brother, friend, and companion, you are greatly loved and fully appreciated. Rest in peace, you will be missed. And they have the Lord's Prayer on here. He also made an appearance in the Blues Brothers movie, Blues Brothers 2000 as well. He got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think it was like 1991. Now, this little album cover I've got here, this was actually around the house, and I don't think I've got a Wilson Pickett album. So what I'm going to do is leave this right here. This is fitting that this will stay here, part of his monument. So I'm going to leave that up there. And actually, that doesn't really look like him, but that's what how the album looked, a little drawing that they did of him. But I'm going to leave that there, and this is a fitting place for it. If you like this video, please subscribe down below and feel free to Leave any comments about Wilson Pickett. I probably will not be able to put Mustang Sally or Lands of a Thousand Dances up because I don't want a copyright strike. But you know how the song Mustang Sally goes. That's one of those blues songs they play all the time. Mustang Sally, you gotta slow your Mustang down. Mustang Sally. That's the song, but look on YouTube for the videos.
And he is one of the most famous and influential artists in soul music with hits like In the Midnight Hour and Mustang Sally.
They're definitely classics. And now Wilson Pickett's Inner Circle is sharing intimate details of the star's life in his first major biography about the legendary soul singer who got his break right here in Memphis, Tennessee at Stax Records. Author and renowned music historian Tony Fletcher joins us live here on Live at 9. Tony, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me here.
We were talking during the commercial break, especially here in Memphis, Tennessee, a lot of us who can date back to the 60s and a little bit before, we think we know who Wilson Pickett is as a singer or perhaps even as a man, but do we know the entire story?
Probably not if we think that Wilson Pickett is just the singer of, say, In the Midnight Hour, Land of a Thousand Dances, Mustang Sally, all of them classics, 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, the ones that come to mind.
The ones that come straight to mind. But this is somebody who was singing from almost the moment he could talk in the gospel church down in rural Alabama, and he knew he was gifted a great voice. He followed that his passion for singing through the church up to Detroit, where he was in gospel groups. Then he was in a kind of real prototype soul group called the Falcons, which he did an amazing song. So he was having hit R&B records in the very early 60s. And although his career really went downhill in the 70s after he left Atlantic for RCA, he still made a great album in 1999, right? You know, that's his final album. And I think the extent of his career is something that's really worth looking at.
Why him? You are one of the world's most noted music historians, music journalists. There are tons of musicians
Yes.
to cover. Why were you interested in him?
Well, growing up in Britain, we have a deep affinity for American black music.
We appreciate that here
Yes.
in the dirty South, as we say.
We really do. And I know when I was about 15 years old, there was a revival of the whole mod movement of the 60s, the very British movement that gave us like the Who, the Small Faces, the Kinks, that very and American soul music was integral to that. So my memories of parties at the age of 15 is jumping around to Motown and Stax Records without really knowing too much about it.
Yeah.
I've lived in America for a number of years. I wrote a book about the history of the New York City music scene, in which I was able to write about rhythm and blues and also Afro-Cuban music. So really what happened to me is one day I've come through Memphis a few times and came through on a road trip a few years ago, went to the Stax Museum, thought it was great. One day I was just listening to Wilson Pickett at home, and it just dawned on me that I didn't have a book about him, and I think I know which books are out about musicians, so I checked, no book. I thought, that's strange. Maybe his life was boring. I just did the most perfunctory research.
And it was anything but boring.
We need a book about Wilson Pickett.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, it was actually quite a hard sell to publishers who I think often look and say, well, if there hasn't been a book, maybe because there shouldn't be a book. But really, the opposite has proven true. Now that this book is here, so many people are saying, really, there hasn't been one before? Or about time? Or thank you?
Yeah.
Thank you for sure. Many of us know, especially fans, about the greatness of Wilson Pickett as a singer, but he also, Tony, had his demons, as you found out, as many other artists have had over the years as well. Did they stand out even more so? Did that affect or impact his career?
It really impacted his career. He signed to RCA Records in the 70s. He got $1 million apparently. And Atlantic Records, the great Atlantic Records, was moving on. It was invested in the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. I think a lot of the R&B singers felt left out. But somewhere it was a very poor decision in that he lost his mentor. Somewhere around there, he was starting to drink more heavily and do drugs. Now, I need to say that he was not doing that. When he joined the Falcons, they said that he was actually, he was green, he was naive. They were doing stuff. He was not.
Yeah.
And his partner for 15 years, Dovey Hall, was insistent when she met him in the early 60s in Detroit and they moved to New York together. No drinking, no partying. This was a guy focused on his career. Somewhere you become a star, somewhere down the line you pick up on the celebrity aspects. What happened is a combination of either the chicken and the egg or the vicious cycle. It's both. You drink and do drugs, your records get worse. Your records stop selling. You
get
take
depressed,
refuge.
or yeah.
Exactly. You know the story. And it's really unfortunate. It's no fun to write about. And I think we try to condense it. The 1980s in particular, and through half of the 1990s, it's a desperate story of the occasional comeback with another record label. Even Motown gave him a shot in 1987, and he blew that one as well. Wow. So you make a record every few years, it doesn't work out, the record company drops you.
Well, it is a fascinating story for sure. And Tony, we appreciate you being here to share it with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe musicians coming up can learn from that.
Absolutely,
So thank you
absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time.
Oh,
We do
thank you.
appreciate it. All right,
Appreciate
great
you.